Hi, Jim Hartley here with Idaho Defense. I'm doing video number 2. Hopefully the targets will cooperate and stay on the wall this time. But I'd like to show you what I expect my students to be able to do through a series of training, where I ask them to shoot, train them to shoot, to be in essentially the core. So I'm going to describe that and then show a target that has essentially one of the drills on it. So I'm going to turn the camera around here quickly and point it at my target. And as you see here, we have two targets. The first target here is a series of drills. And that target, as you can see, has the shots essentially in this 2x8, 3x8 core, as I call it, that runs from the head down through the upper abdomen. So this is where essentially I teach my students to keep their shots. This is essentially the bullseye area. This area maximizes the damage and potential for put down on the first or second shot. So that is what I call the core. So I train my students to shoot in this core on the move. This is the whole idea of Idaho Defense, the precision combat marksmanship on the move, keeping the shots in the core. So if you can do this during practice, essentially when the heat is on and your adrenaline is going 100 miles an hour, this group will essentially widen about 100%. Okay, so that would still keep your shots essentially in the core, but now the core would essentially be 4x4, or essentially 4 down at the base, up to 8. And you can see there the shots would primarily be very effective in the body. Okay, so the drills that I teach my students are, we use various types of trigger control, various types of sight pictures to accomplish this, but essentially we have a 5-yard, 7-yard, 3-yard, and then 3 to 10 yard drill that I work my students on. Okay, this is an actual student target, and you notice I expect this accuracy at the end of training of our BHT 3-day class, which essentially is going to run anywhere from 1,250 to 1,500 rounds over 3 days of intensive training, day and night. Okay, so essentially I teach the students to essentially be accurate in the core at 5 yards, and at 7 yards with turns, and in 5 yards, 7 yards, I'm asking them to essentially use either a front post only or a perfect sight picture type of arrangement on their sight alignment sight picture. So I teach a front sight only sight picture, a standard sight picture, perfect sight picture. I teach a peripheral sight picture and a retention sight picture. Okay, so those are 4 things that we use here to get the shots in mass. On the move, in the core, 3 to 10 yards, on the move, and essentially at the closer distances you use either front post or peripheral, and then you move back with perfect sight picture while you're on the move, 3 to 10 yards. Okay, and then the retention group. This is shot at very close range, keeping the firearm away from the opponent, down at your side. The retention group is shot essentially as fast as you can manipulate or cycle the trigger, and I expect the results again to be in the core after training. So this is what I expect my students to be able to do. Okay, so this target kind of is contrived in some way because I draw the essential target area for the student that I want him to shoot. Okay, and then we go to the test target. Okay, so this is the test target. This is the one that fell off the wall the last time. And you can see that all the shots essentially that I want on this target are going to be in the core, lower neck, upper chest, or in the ocular box area. Okay. So it takes no great skill for the students to do this. I train a little bit differently than most people do, but you can pretty much take what you know from other schools, and I can tune you to do this without any problems. It's just a small change in technique, okay? So we primarily will use a modified isosceles on the move, and then around corners and so forth and obstacles, I do teach them to use modified weaver as we blade around things. So that's essentially where I'm going with my students. So you see here for my combative course, I'm going to be going essentially from 3 to 10 yards, okay, and then 7 yards across the field, shooting weak hand unsupported and strong hand unsupported on the move, okay. So we also will teach you how to shoot and manipulate targets at night using no lights, no night sights, and then we go to night sights and we go to lights, okay. So we teach you all those fundamentals of night shooting. Since most of your combat will be done in dim light, we want to go there too in our training. So all 3 days we'll have a night section in the course. And essentially we want the same accuracies you see here on the day target and the test target to be shot at night. Okay, so We want to have good follow-on shots. We want to have good repeatability, and we want to have good performance out there. We're not race gunners. We want to shoot for effectiveness, but we want to make sure you get the hits. So we want to make sure that you shoot fast and reliably, but we also want to make sure that you get your hits. So that's essentially what we do here. So this is my area of expertise. It's the handgunning. We have experts in rifle, shotgun, and long range as well. And they do their thing as well, night and day. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this other quick introduction and test video. It's all new to me, so we'll actually get on the range here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and show you how we do some of these techniques. Encourage your comments and so forth. And we'll show you some ways to do this. And hopefully you'll come down and visit us. Our school is located in Pullman, Washington. That's where our classroom is. We have a range in south of Pullman, and we have another range that's located east of Troy. So we have a 3-gun range, and we have a 1,000-yard long range that we use for our training. So hope you come and visit us. So anyway, my name is James Hartley, Idaho Defense. You can find us on the web, www.idahodefense-llc.com. So hope to see you there. Enjoy the video and post your comments. Thank you.